Hey, what's up guys? So San Diego Comic-Con happened this past July, and I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I wanted to finally talk about the Marvel Phase 4 slate. We got to see all the projects for the next 2 years, the Marvel Disney Plus series, and a lot of details on certain movies. I think it's been about 3 weeks since San Diego Comic-Con. We've gotten a little bit more information on certain franchises, and it looks pretty good. Some stuff I'm really hyped for, and some stuff I have a little bit of issues with, but I'm still excited nonetheless. So let's get into this. The one project that I'm really excited for is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, guys. My boy, Doctor Strange, has been needing a sequel forever, guys. The last time we saw Doctor Strange in a solo movie was in 2016. We're gonna get that sequel in 2021. So it's about damn time. Nightmare is confirmed as the villain, which everybody was speculating on, and it seems like this is going to be really awesome. There's been a lot of speculation on the casting for Nightmare, and a lot of people have been speculating that Ava Green was supposedly being eyed for Nightmare, or the female version of Nightmare. But honestly, I know he already played Kilgrave, but with all this Blade news, I would love to see David Tennant come back as Nightmare in Doctor Strange 2. I think it'd be super cool. I just really can't wait to see Doctor Strange deal with the ramifications of Infinity War and Endgame and all this time travel, multiversal travel, timeline meddling. Like all that damage they did to the alternate timeline where the other Thanos came from, where they got the Infinity Stones from. Like, what are the ramifications for that universe? What's gonna happen in that universe now? Because the multiverse, just like it says in the title, is gonna be filled with madness. I think Doctor Strange is going to provide us with all of those details. And also, it's supposedly said to be the first scary MCU movie, which I was hoping for so much. I mean, I think it's gonna be coming out in November of 2021, perfect around Halloween time. I think it'll just be awesome because the first Doctor Strange movie was more mystical, not so much supernatural, I would say. And I think we'll get more supernatural and to the supernatural side with Blade. Right now with Doctor Strange, I think he'll set up the foundation for that to come in the future. Also, the Scarlet Witch series, WandaVision, will be tied directly into Doctor Strange 2. The Scarlet Witch herself will be in the movie, which I think is awesome. I do also believe Clea and Brother Voodoo will be in the movie, but having Wanda have any interactions with Doctor Strange is something that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to, me included. I want Doctor Strange to teach her more about her chaos magic, and maybe Doctor Strange will be the one to tell her, like, where this magic comes from. It's not from the Mind Stone. It's this gene that you have that the Mind Stone unlocked. Like, I think that would be sick, to be honest. And also, Monica Rambeau will be in the WandaVision series. So that little girl that we saw in Captain Marvel is all grown up now, and she's gonna be the superhero Spectrum, which I don't know too much about right now, but I'll read up on her for following videos. But I think that'll be really cool to see her come back, and I'm curious to see how she's gonna tie into the show. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier series will be coming to us in 2020. Daniel Bruhl, Baron Zemo from Civil War, is set to return and has even teased the comic book accurate costume of Baron Zemo, the purple mask, which I believe was concept art for Civil War, but it looks like they're going for it now, which I think is awesome. Supposedly it'll deal with the US government not wanting Sam Wilson to be Captain America. I think maybe this has something to do with him being on the wrong side of the Sokovia Accords. And that's the thing, I don't know if the Sokovia Accords are still even a thing in the MCU right now. I mean, all of the heroes were at Tony Stark's funeral, and Thunderbolt Ross was there, and he didn't arrest any of them, and all of these heroes literally saved the universe. Maybe Baron Zemo can still control Bucky, so maybe that'll be some kind of plot point, or maybe Bucky will pretend to be under Baron Zemo's control and then attack him at the last second, or something crazy like that. I think the action in that series will be top notch, just like the Winter Soldier. And one of the other projects that I'm most excited for besides Doctor Strange is the new Black Widow movie. Honestly, we should have gotten this movie like in Phase 2, but it's all good. I'm glad it's happening now. After Avengers Endgame, I really started to like Black Widow. Like after Infinity War, Natasha and her sacrifice in Endgame, I've always been curious about, just what the hell happened in Budapest, guys. That's what we all want to know. And that's what I'm hoping will be expanded upon in this movie. I honestly believe this movie has the potential to be the new Winter Soldier with like twice the amount of action. I believe there was some footage that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con of Black Widow and Florence Pugh's character Yelena Belova having like this intense, like super intense like fight scene. I just can't wait for that. As far as casting goes, Florence Pugh is officially playing Yelena Belova. Rachel Weisz is, I believe, playing Iron Maiden, but both of these women will be products of the Red Room and Black Widows of themselves. And David Harbour's character is officially the Red Guardian, Alexei Shostakov, exactly like I thought he would be. And hopefully we get a cameo from Hawkeye. I doubt we wouldn't get a cameo from Hawkeye if they're gonna shed light on Budapest. And it's pretty much been made official with the concept art art and the leaked set photos that Taskmaster will be the villain of the movie. I forgot exactly who's playing him. I'll put that up somewhere probably. I can't wait to see the actual suit, color graded in motion in an actual trailer, which more than likely we'll get by the latest December. We'll get footage of Black Widow. We'll probably get pictures leading up, maybe like in August or September. We have ShangChi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming in February of 2021. Now, I'm not too familiar with ShangChi, but I'm gonna start reading into him more so I can be more familiar with the lore. But basically, he's like the greatest martial artist in the MCU or in the Marvel universe. I think somewhere in the comics he trained Spider-Man when Spider-Man lost his spider sense to make up for his loss of it. And I believe he doesn't have any special powers, but his martial arts is so good that it's basically like a superpower. Like, he's supposedly one of the fastest natural humans that Spider-Man has ever come into contact with. And Simu Liu has been cast as Shang-Chi. I also heard Jackie Chan is going to be playing the father of Shang-Chi in this movie. That just came out recently. Tony Leung is going to be playing the Mandarin, and yes, the real Mandarin, and not that fake Trevor bullshit from Iron Man 3. We're gonna get the real Mandarin in this movie, the real Ten Rings. I believe Awkwafina is gonna be in the movie. I'm just interested more so in seeing how an MCU kung fu movie will look like. I think it'll be pretty badass, and I'm also curious how Shang-Chi is going to get intertwined with the rest of the Avengers. I think the Ten Rings is gonna be that new primary evil organization in the MCU, how Hydra was that organization in the Infinity Saga. I think besides Roxxon and Hydra, I believe Ten Rings has been around since Iron Man 1, so it's like the longest running evil organization in the MCU to my knowledge. So I would really love to see where they could take that, what they could use the Ten Rings for in the future, because I don't think it'll just be one and done after the first Shang-Chi movie. The Loki series we now know will be coming to us in the spring of 2021. More Tom Hiddleston, more Loki, more mischief. I think it's going to be awesome. It's not going to be the Loki that we know, of course. It's going to be the Loki from the alternate timeline, the one that got the Tesseract and teleported out of that whole business. So he won't have experienced Thanos or anything that happened after Avengers. So it should be a slightly different version. The Hawkeye series is also confirmed for fall of 2021, and this should be good. We're going to be introducing Kate Bishop as the new Hawkeye, and honestly, I'm just excited for more Jeremy Renner and more Hawkeye. We got info about the Disney Plus animated series, the What If animated series, which is looking awesome. Jeffrey Wright will be lending his voice for the series as the Watcher. So if we can get the Watchers in any aspect, I want more of the Watchers. I'm very excited to see the animation style that Disney is going to use. The series is going to have voices from like the MCU, like the actual actors, like Chadwick Boseman to freaking Thanos, Josh Brolin. Now, one of the projects that I'm most excited for, which is coming out November 6th, 2020, is obviously the Eternals, guys. I've been hyped for the Eternals. They just recently released concept art for the Celestials, and honestly, I didn't kind of like it. I felt that the Celestials were a little bit too skinny. I wanted them to be a little bit thicker, but things can change. Things probably will change, or maybe they'll just look better in motion. So I'll wait and see the final product to cast my judgments. They announced the cast, lots of great actors, but not exactly what I was expecting. I really thought Kumail Nanjiani was going to be Makari, and I was excited because typically speedsters are funny. I was really looking forward to that, but he's actually playing Kinjo. He's like this samurai dude, super proficient in martial arts, obviously. Brian Tyree Henry is going to be Phastos. I believe he's like the tech guy, if I'm not mistaken. Angelina Jolie actually isn't going to be playing Cersei, but she's going to be playing Thena, which I think is probably a better role for her. I feel like Thena is way more regal, and Angelina Jolie, she's such a veteran actress that I think her being Cersei wouldn't have fit. But Gemma Chan from Captain Marvel, she's actually been in talks to come back for this movie, not in the role that she was in Captain Marvel, but a new role. So I think actually Gemma Chan has a chance to be playing Cersei, and I would love to see Cersei in the movie. I think she's such a core member of the Eternals. Like, I don't understand how you would not have Cersei. Richard Madden was cast as Icarus, which I think is an awesome casting. Don Lee will be playing the villainous Gilgamesh. Salma Hayek is actually going to be playing Ajax, so they gender swapped that, which I absolutely don't care about. I'm glad that they went with a Hispanic actress. I thought that was kind of a smart move because Ajax was a heavily influential figure in the Incan culture, so I think that works. Also, they did that with Sprite. I forgot what the actress name was, but I don't mind that either. The only thing that I have a slight problem with, which might sound a little bad, is the casting for Makari, because Makari in the comics, he's just a regular dude, like a white dude. I believe in the Neil Gaiman comics, he looks like a little more brown, but still, they cast Laura Ridloff. I'm not too familiar with her, but she's a deaf actress. I believe she was on The Walking Dead. I don't understand the casting there. I feel like they just did this to do it. I'll give Marvel the benefit of the doubt. She doesn't remind me of Hawkeye, but I'm hoping for the best with her, and if it's good, it's good. Also, there's been no casting for Zurus, and there's been no casting for Margot Damien, but one of the sets we have seen being built looks like, from the very first issue, this temple that Margot Damien and Professor Damien, these archaeologists, basically they're in this temple with Icarus in disguise, and they stumble upon this eternal tech, and that's when Icarus reveals himself, and Margot Damien and her father are kind of just like playing spectator to all this like eternal craziness. Next, we have Thor, Love and Thunder. Now, when I first heard, maybe a couple days before San Diego Comic-Con happened and they revealed Slate 4 that there was gonna be a fourth Thor movie, I was like, badass. This is gonna be awesome. Like, I can't wait for more of the Thor that we saw in Thor Ragnarok and Endgame and Infinity War. Like, I like this Thor because I felt like Thor Ragnarok was the first movie where Chris Hemsworth, him as a person, blended in with the character of Thor, which I thought was awesome and made Thor more relatable, more human, even though he's a god, but it also made him more of a god. Like, the first two movies, we didn't really get to see Thor like lash out like we got to see in the last three movies that he's been in, not really be a god. So Taika Waititi did a great job of that in Thor Ragnarok, and I wanted to see that expanded upon in more of Thor's like rogues gallery of villains be expanded upon, which I believe will. I believe either Gore or Mangog will be the villain for the movie, but it was revealed that the movie's gonna be called Thor, Love and Thunder. It's gonna be the last movie for Phase 4, and Natalie Portman is coming back to portray the mighty Thor, female Thor, Lady Thor. Honestly, guys, I don't like the idea of Thor being a mantle. I think Thor is Thor Odin's son. It's just kind of weird. It's not like Spider-Man. It's not like Captain America. It's not like anything else. Thor is Thor. No, I don't know what Jason Aaron was thinking with it, but no disrespect to Jason Aaron though. I think Jason Aaron's done some of the best Thor that we've ever seen. I think he's an amazing writer, but I didn't like the mighty Thor when it came out. I don't really like the idea of Jane Foster being Thor. It kind of feels like things are just handed to her. I think she also like beat the shit out of Odin, which totally negates anything that makes any sense when you know about Odin and the Odin Force. That's why I don't like it. I felt like they just handed things to her. And also, I don't really like Natalie Portman coming back. I believe they used stock footage of her for Endgame, and after Thor the Dark World, she didn't even want to be associated with the MCU or the franchise, which is slightly understandable, but she didn't even come back for Endgame after Thor Ragnarok was just such a complete success. And then she comes back. I believe she had a meeting with Taika Waititi and he laid out what his vision was for Love and Thunder. She, immediately came back on board, which when Thor was actually popping, Thor's popping right now, and she comes back. I just think that's kind of stupid. But even though I don't like the Mighty Thor comics, even though I don't like the idea of Jane Foster Thor, the MCU is a different place. If it's good, if Natalie Portman brings a good performance, if the story is compelling, if it's good, it's good, and I'm gonna like it, and I'll support Natalie Portman as Lady Thor or whatever. I know Taika Waititi wants us to call her the Mighty Thor, but she's Jane Foster Thor or female Thor, and I don't think there's anything wrong with calling her female or Lady Thor. Either way, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Taika Waititi does. Honestly, I think in this movie they could really set up a storyline like Siege or the Dark Avengers. I don't know if the seeds for the Dark Avengers will be planted in Phase 4. I think it would be like just awesome and it would work. Norman Osborn and all the alternate dark versions of the superheroes coming to fruition, I think would just be insane. What if Thunderbolt Ross and Norman Osborn get their own group of heroes and they're like, why is New Asgard here? It shouldn't be on here. It's a direct threat to us. We need to take care of it, and having that play out in the MCU would just be insane. And also Blade was teased for this, and this had to be the best announcement of the whole Phase 4, but I want to talk about Blade for a Phase 5 video that I have in store for you guys. I'm very excited. I mean, when Mahershala Ali stepped on the stage, like when Kevin Feige was like, we got one more thing, and he comes on and then he puts on the cap and you saw that logo, the Blade logo, that was the most baller moment of that whole panel. It was so cool. But I'll talk about Blade in the next video. But that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What are the projects? What are the movies that you're most excited for? What do you wish was in Phase 4? Because Kevin Feige has gone on to say that he had so much more to reveal, but there was just such a high number of projects, he thought that that would be enough for right now. So what do you think is coming up next? Do you have predictions? What movies are you most excited for? What are you least excited for? What are some of the things that you didn't like about Phase 4? Let me know and I'll get back at you. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.